Millions of people in southern Africa are being pushed into hunger because of the worst drought in decades. About a third of southern African countries are on red alert, having declared emergencies after crops failed. The head of the Regional Development Community says up to 68 million people are in need of assistance and has launched an appeal for $5.5 billion in aid. The BBC's Shingai Nyoka reports from Mudzi in northern Zimbabwe, one of the areas worst affected.
The worst drought in living memory is sweeping across the land. Here in Mudzi, it's wiped out over 90% of the crop and put pressure on water supplies. An entire community and their animals gathered to extract the last drops from this river. It normally never runs dry, we were told. Gracious Piri is now walking further, 3 hours every day to fetch water, but she fears that sharing a water pit with animals could make her family sick. I've never seen anything like this, she told me. Dry spells are increasing in frequency in this part of the world. Poor families, unable to withstand the climate shocks, are becoming more and more vulnerable. This is a familiar picture in many rural areas across southern Africa. Water bodies that are bone dry. It means that the hundreds of families that used to sustain themselves through rivers like this are now dependent on food aid. Tambudzai Mahachi planted acres of maize, cowpeas and peanuts and harvested nothing. She told me that she often supplies markets in the capital. But this year, she's among millions of Zimbabweans relying on handouts. Breakfast today is wheat from a neighbor.
We have gone from eating what we want and when we want to limiting meals. The older girl understands and accepts that we don't have enough. But at times, I can see that my youngest is hungry.
About a third of southern African countries are on red alert, having declared a state of disaster.
At least 3 million tons of maize is required immediately to meet regional demand. This is the second highest deficit in 15 years. And this is a region where up to 70% of the population relies on agriculture.
Meanwhile, it's getting hotter and drier, and the hunger season is yet to peak. And the next rain still months away, there are concerns that families like this might not get the help they need. Shingai Nyoka, BBC News, Mudzi.